Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I thought it'd be fun to rank all of the Nosler cartridges. So we're going to rank all 8 of them to see which ones are the best and which ones are the worst. So of course this will be my opinion. You're welcome to disagree, but let's go ahead and look at all 8 of the Nosler cartridges. Now the majority of Nosler cartridges are what I would call a modernized Weatherby cartridge. So Nosler really went out to produce really fast cartridges with no belt, so it's modern, and the majority of them are based off the 300 Remington Ultramag case. Now they are shortened to fit a standard length action. Now I said majority, however, there are 3 of them that are not based off the 300 Remington Ultramag case, and so coming in last place for me at number 8 is the 24 Nosler. And the 24 Nosler is so far away from what the other Nosler cartridges are, I feel like I kind of had to put it in last place. For example, a 243 case is a little over 2 inches long. The 24 Nosler is 1.6 inches long. And the 243 case is also wider at 0.473 compared to 0.420. So I feel like Nosler was really out to make a cartridge that could compete really with the 6mm arc instead of a 243 Winchester or a 240 Weatherby. So what is the performance like? As I said, it's like a 6mm arc, so you can shoot a 105 grain bullet a little over 2,500 feet per second. Now, of course, the great thing about these Nosler cartridges is they have been modernized, so you can shoot high BC bullets. So that 105 grain is a really high BC bullet, but it's going pretty darn slow. So this is why I put it in last place. Coming in at number 7 is the 22 Nosler. This cartridge was introduced in 2017. And again, they're kind of going away from trying to compete with the fastest in its class. So, you know, it's not really trying to compete with the 22-250 Remington or the 220 Swift. This cartridge really was meant to go into an AR-15. So its main competitor is the 223 Remington. Good luck with that, Nosler. I actually think this is a pretty cool cartridge. It's like a souped up 223 Remington. Now the 22 Nosler has the same case head as a 223 Remington. The big difference with this is that its body is a little bit wider, so 0.420 inches. But the case length is the exact same as a 223 Remington. Let's just look at the performance real quick. Well, a 55 grain bullet, you know, you could push that at max 3,500 feet per second. So it's about 300 feet per second slower than a 22-250, but probably about 100 to 200 feet per second faster than a 223 Remington. At number 6, we have the 20 Nosler. And now we're back into Nosler, well, really trying to up the velocity and be a leader in their own caliber. So the 20 Nosler is really just a 22 Nosler that's been lengthened a little bit and then necked down to 20 caliber. And this cartridge is faster than the popular 204 Ruger. So I think this one has a possibility to catch on to be an absolute beast as a varminter. So let me just show you the velocities real quick. Okay, the 20 Nosler shooting a 32 grain at 4,200 feet per second. So it's a little bit faster than a 204 Ruger. We're now into the top 5, and all of the cartridges now are based off the 300 Remington Ultramag, but shortened down to fit a standard length action. So at number 5, I have the 33 Nosler. And Nosler's intention with the 33 Nosler was to provide a 338 Lapua type cartridge that fits a standard length action. That's also not belted, not that the Lapua is belted, but I think the 33 Nosler falls a little short of their claim for trying to make a 338 Lapua clone. So let me show you why I think it falls a little short. So just for example, the 338 Lapua shoots a 225 grain at 3100, and this one is right, well, almost 3000 feet per second. The 250 grain, this one's a bit odd to me, it's almost 2800 feet per second, while the Lapua is almost 3000 feet per second. Now when you have a 338, you're going to be shooting bigger bullets, and so a 300 grain bullet, Lapua would shoot that roughly around 2700, and this one's shooting it mid 2500 feet per second. I think this is a really good cartridge. It falls right in between like a 338 Win Mag and a 340 Weatherby, but I've kind of found it odd that Nosler decided to even shorten this one a little bit even more. When we look at the other, Nosler cartridges, you'll notice that almost all of them are 2.580 inches long, the case length. So for whatever reason, they decided to shorten it on the 33 Nosler. At number 4 is the 27 Nosler, and this is Nosler's newest cartridge. It came out in 2020, and I think it kind of came out with no fanfare. I think a lot of people still don't even know that it exists. So this is the 27 Nosler that, has the same case length as a 28 Nosler and a 26, and it's shooting 270 caliber bullets. And if I were ever to get a Nosler cartridge, I think this would be it. I think this is a really good cartridge. So let's go look at the performance real fast. A 150 grain, when you hand load it, you're getting it 3,400 feet per second. That's insane performance. And then the new 165 grain Accubon long range that you're finding in the 6.8 Western, well, you can shoot it in a 27 Nosler as well. The big difference is you're going to be shooting it, well, almost 300 feet per second faster than a 6.8 Western. So 270 Winchester obviously owns the 270 caliber market, and the 6.8 Western is an up-and-coming cartridge that a lot of people are starting to like, and I'm afraid that this one's just going to be forgotten, that it's just a little too much, a little bit too much overbore for its own good. At number 3 is the cartridge that really started it all for Nosler. It is the 26 Nosler, and this cartridge by Nosler is considered a hyper magnum, and I kind of have to agree with them. They really hit a home run with this one. Now, it definitely is overbore, but if you're looking for one of the flattest cartridges on the planet, this is it. So this cartridge is shooting a 140 grain bullet over 3,300 feet per second. Now I'm going to bring 2 cartridges in just to see kind of the visual difference between them. Okay, the cartridge on the left is the very popular 6.5 Creedmoor, and it's shooting this 140 grain bullet. Well, it's a 143 grain ELDX at around 2,700 feet per second, maybe 2,750 when you hand load it. Up next is the 6.5 Creedmoor's version of a Magnum, and so this is the 6.5 PRC, and it's shooting a 143 grain bullet at around 3,000 feet per second, maybe a little more with a longer barrel. Then we bump up to the 26 Nosler, and again it's shooting a 140 grain class bullet, 3,300 feet per second. Now you have to use almost twice the powder to get 3,300 feet per second as the 6.5 Creedmoor. So this thing is anything but efficient, but it is one of the flattest cartridges in the world. At number 2 is the 30 Nosler. I put it all the way up at number 2 for 2 reasons. First, I just think Nosler really designed a great 30 caliber Magnum. They weren't going for the Velocity King like one of the Weatherby cartridges, but it's just a well-designed cartridge. Velocity-wise, it sits right in between a 300 Win Mag and a 300 Weatherby. It almost has about the same performance as a Weatherby. And the second reason why I put it at number 2 is that it's doing really well in the custom world. Now, as a hunting rifle and a factory rifle, I don't think it's ever going to outsell 300 Win Mag. But a lot of people are building 30 Noslers as these custom hunting rifles or custom long-range cartridges. And the 30 Nosler really excels at that. You're going to get velocities around, with a 210 grain bullet, right around 3,000 feet per second. So it's got plenty of oomph behind it. I put the 28 Nosler at number 1 for a couple reasons. Number 1 is that this is Nosler's best-selling cartridge. And if there's one cartridge that's going to survive, it's going to be this one. It's just providing absolute amazing performance. You get these high BC bullets in the 7mm category, and it's going at ridiculous velocities. Now, if you're going to shoot a huge cartridge like the 28 Nosler with its modern twist rate, I'd highly recommend shooting some heavy high BC bullets. So the 168 grain AccuBall long range, you can get that going mid 3,200 feet per second. And the 175 grain AccuBall long range is just barely over 3,200 feet per second. Now, this is not the fastest 7mm cartridge. There is one that does beat it, but this is very close to matching the 7mm rum. One of the fun little things about a Nosler reloading book is they have a little snippet of an article for each cartridge that's in the reloading book. And the 28 Nosler article is by Karen Phillips, and let me quote her. Sighted in with the 150 grain E-tip, zeroed at 200 yards, it was also my setup of choice in Colorado weeks later when I dropped a bull at 300 yards with a bullet drop of only 5.4 inches and a velocity of 2,674 feet per second and almost 2,400 foot-pounds of energy at that range at 300 yards.